My name is Grant Gilbert. I work for DBLG. Well, I say work for, it's my company. We're a motion design company or a branding agency. We do conceptual work. But what I want to talk about is like how changing direction one day can change your future.
You think now you're a rich man. I found a rich one if you can. But daddy, don't you understand? I'm gonna make my own money, gonna buy my own land.
About 6 years ago, we did this little rebrand for Animal Planet, Discovery Channel. Low poly kind of environment where they had like human characteristics. Communication still needs to be there, and the design foundations of that still needs to be there. Unless those two are together, then you've lost the audience. And you know, we carried on doing motion graphics and channel identities and all these sort of things. If you can buck the trends and do things differently, that's the next step. It's not about following the crowd. And it was this moment of joy when this thing came off the printer. It was a 50-frame animation. We printed every frame out. There they are. I think we're obsessed these days of trying to get things to render quicker. The thing with this technology, it's incredibly slow. Each one of those took 4 hours. This is great, you know, you can see all these ridges and all these different textures. And then probably about 3 years ago, we literally had no work. I think the future, weirdly enough, is creativity. You know, that's the foundations of it all. It's very easy this day and age to be able to design things on your phone, on a laptop, but it's just a tool. It was obviously computer generated, but it was physical. It's difficult sometimes because, you know, some things dry up, but those are the best times and worst times because you've got to experiment, you've got to move on. And I think the notion of television branding is diminishing. I think there's less of it, but it needs a core thought behind it. And I think unless that's there, you're lost. Now. We were approached by Channel 4. The brief we got was really quite simple. It was like, can you rebrand Channel 4? So we said, yeah. We printed the logo, the 9 blocks of the logo, and we put them in a cup. And in the pitch, right at the end, I threw them on the table and I said, that's your logo. We had this master plan of printing out hundreds of different types of blocks, out of glass, out of wood, out of, you know, all this sort of stuff, and filming the whole thing. The thing that no one ever sees, that spent 3 months making, you know, all the grids and the layouts and what font size to use and all that sort of stuff. Any variation, any lighting, and we made about, there's some of them there, we made about 50 of these. And this was great. Technology is really important. You know, it's taken us to stages, to places we didn't think we were going to get to. The most important thing is that it's used in the right way. When you shoot things, anything can happen. Literally anything. And I love those happy accidents. There's still a thrill about live action. A very good friend of mine once said, 1 of something is rubbish, but 1,000 of something is brilliant. So we went to Bulgaria, we found this studio, massive studio. We had 1,000 people, we were filming for a week. And it was great fun because, again, it was one of those situations where anything goes, anything could have happened. We just said to the client, it's all gonna be fine, but we had no idea if this was going to work. But fortunately it did. And it worked quite well. You know, let's just do it in the computer. But the joy of this was that it was random and they were human and it had that natural feeling to it. couple of years ago, we rebranded Studio Canal, the French film distribution. Our idea and our narrative for them was to actually build a physical glass structure. We had a 35mm camera, old 1950s prime anamorphic lenses, different colours, different lights. There's very little post-production in this. If the ideas are strong, you can use any platform you need to do that. And I think that's what we try and do. We don't try and do the same thing over and over. We try and push our own boundaries because we're fortunate to be in an industry that you can play. It's like sometimes it's playtime, isn't it? It's your imagination that holds you back. And not to be scared to use different media. And I think that's the most important thing. There are 3D printers, there are certain techniques in stop motion animation, there's live action, all these different things. At the end of the day, the biggest word in that is design. And if the design's good, then it'll stand out. If it's just not that, it doesn't communicate, then it's not good motion design.